I thought today we'll talk about a collection by Choo. There's about 5 fragrances. There's one that came out in 2021. It's not out yet for everybody. But Choo has 5 fragrances, and you can find these at relatively, inexpensive prices all around. And they're decent fragrances, and I thought, let me go through it. Next time you see one somewhere, you know which one to get. Hey there, I'm Peter from Centrail. On this channel, I talk about fragrances, designer, niche, perfumers, so on and so forth. I basically do the legwork for you. I go out and I buy them, I review them, I wear them. That way you can spend your money on something that you actually enjoy, and you don't have to waste your money because you know ahead of time what you're getting into. If you get anything out of this video at all, love, like, share, all those wonderful things. I really do appreciate you supporting the channel. I'm glad that you're here, and now let's get right into our fragrances for today. Some Choo's. Choo is a fashion house that has been around for about 25 years or so, and they've been actually pretty busy. Now, they didn't come out with fragrances, I think, until 2011 or something like that. And since then, okay, that's what, 10 years, but since we're in 21, they've actually come out with 35 fragrances, which is it's quite a few fragrances in just 10 years. Now, most of them are going to be for women, but there are 5 fragrances that are for men, and then there's a 6th one that is it's not out yet, but there's some talk about it yet, and I have an image for you and so on that we're going to talk about a little bit later, and it sounds promising. But I have the 5 ones here that you can get out now, and you can find these at really good prices. So, let's look at the first one that came out, and it is Choo Man. Choo Man came out in 2014. The fragrance itself kind of reminds me of like the Abercrombie and Fitch sort of smells. There is some pineapple in this fragrance. It's a fruity lavender. There's also a little bit of suede in this fragrance. But you will recognize immediately the smell like you've smelled it before. It's a little bit on the generic side, but like an Abercrombie and Fitch. Now, a few years ago, 2014, that was the smell to be had. And if you're still into it, good for you. I don't wear that anymore nowadays. For me, the fragrance itself is just a little bit on the underwhelming side. It doesn't perform too well. 4 hours is probably going to be it. And, it protects good for a little while, but it's just a fragrance that you can wear for a couple of hours and then it's going to be gone. Choo Man does have a nice dry down of patchouli. It's a little bit for a younger crowd. It's probably my least favorite out of the bunch, just because it's been kind of overdone. And every time you're at the mall, you smell the Abercrombie and Fitch, and I'm kind of over it personally. But if you're still into it, you go ahead and rock it. Then in 2016, Choo came out with Man Intense. And Man Intense retains a little bit of the original DNA, but not that much. It scraps the pineapple from the top. It does retain the melon and the lavender. There's also some mandarin orange in there. It's a warmer fragrance, and it's a little bit of a deeper fragrance. There's also some patchouli and some tonka in this. There's patchouli in the last one, which we talked about, the dry down. This one also has patchouli, but there's also labdanum in here and tonka, which give this one a nice sort of warm feeling. It's not quite as light as the last one. It is heavier, so you can wear this one in cooler days. And it's actually quite a nice scent. I like this one a lot better than I like the original. There's also an unusual note of Artemisia, which gives it a little bit of a unique sort of tanginess to it. Artemisia is used to flavor vermouth and absinthe, so I don't know if you've ever smelled those. They have a hint of licorice or something. Now, you don't really smell that in this fragrance. It doesn't smell like licorice at all, but it is in here, and you can just kind of tell. Hey, let's give this one a little fragrance. Let's give it a little fragrance. Let's give it a little spray and see. It is actually a really nice scent. I don't have anything else that smells like Choo. And I remember when I first smelled it, I really liked it, enjoyed it, and I went and got a bottle. And that's Choo for 2016. And you can get these nowadays for, if you look around at the discounters and stuff, $30, $40. And I think the Intense is a really nice one. Of course, most of these are going to last you, 4, 5, 6 hours, depending on where you spray them. They're not going to last too long. With the Tonka and Lapdanum in this one, and the Patchouli, this one lasts a little bit longer than the original, but it's still not going to give you a whole lot. It's not going to be beast. As a matter of fact, I don't think any of these are going to be beasts, 8+ hours or 12 hours. No, they're lighter, and 4, 5, 6 hours. That's all you're going to get out of the Jimmy Choos. And then in 2017, Jimmy Choo came out with a really good front fragrance that I like quite a bit, and I wear a lot still. It is Jimmy Choo, and it is the Man Ice. And Man Ice is a citrus, has some citron in there. It is very, very fresh, but it has a good dose of masculinity in it. Michel Amirac created this fragrance, and he added ambroxan. I love ambroxan. I also love ambergris. It doesn't have ambergris, but the ambroxan in it is really, really well done. There's also some mandarin orange, some lime at the top, so it's really citrusy, and the citron really gives it a good kick, Then there's also some vetiver, apple, and patchouli, and some cedar in the base as it dries down, so it has a good bit of a nice density to it, a little bit of a heaviness, even though it is a good freshie for summertime. And there's also some musk and some moss in the base, so it's mixed with the ambroxan. And this one really just dries down exquisitely on your skin. Of course, we got the longevity problem, 4 to 6 hours, depending on where you spray it. But it is a really nice, beautiful, somewhat masculine scent. And if you can find this one, definitely pick it up. It is probably my favorite out of the line. And I wear this one in the hot days all the time. And then in 2018... Jimmy Choo got on the bandwagon with everything else, and came out with the blue fragrance. In 2018, the brand launched Jimmy Choo Man Blue. And yes, does it smell a lot like the other blue fragrances out there? It does. The neat thing about this one, though, is that there has the dry down on it. It's just a little bit different, and it has its own little unique quality. This one runs second for me, I think, as far as how I like these fragrances. And it's another freshie that actually does quite well. The perfumer behind this one is, master perfumer Nathalie Larson, who's given us many fragrances that are just totally exquisite. And so initially this one smells just like all the other ones, and then it kind of goes in its own direction. It's a really well done fragrance. For the price, you can't beat it. I really enjoy Man Blue. And, it has the original notes of, lavender, a little bit of the original DNA in there. There's the addition of clary sage, and then my favorite note, ambergris, is sort of hitting towards the middle and the base. That's why it probably gives it a great dry down. There's also a little bit of vanilla. There's also a little bit of pineapple, some sandalwood, a little bit of lavender. I mean, it's a really, really nice one for, $30, $40. And the protection and longevity is going to be around the same. But for me, I think this one probably hits spot number 2 as far as, the 5 that we have from Jimmy Choo. Then in 2019, I guess Jimmy Choo completely changed. The original DNA is completely gone. They even changed the bottles, and they went to this design, which is also actually quite nice. I like it. It's got a nice little heft to it. The top snaps in place really good. It's plastic on the inside, but it's metal on the outside. And I actually like this design of flacon. Now this is the only one that they have at this point. Maybe the next ones are going to be a lot like this. Like we have one coming out in 2021, like I said. And Jimmy Choo, and this is Man or Urban Hero. So it's Jimmy Choo Urban Hero from 2019. Now the interesting notes in this one is you have some black pepper at the top. Let's give this one a spray. You have something called finger lime or People call it lemon caviar. And it is a really unique scent. I haven't smelled this one quite a lot, I have to say. And it takes a little bit of getting used to. It gives it a really unique scent that is aquatic maybe to me. It is limey. The pepper gives it a little bit of a tingle to your nose when you first spray it. There's also some rosewood in here. A hint of vetiver as it dries down. Now the fragrance itself is an eau de parfum. The other ones are all eau de toilette. Now you would think that an Urban Hero with the eau de parfum concentration, that it would just be a little bit more dense and it perhaps lasts a little bit longer, but it doesn't. They stayed with the 4 to 6 hour mark before you're in the skin scent range. Leather in the base. There's some ambergris, so it has a decent dry down, but altogether it's just it's an odd fragrance to me. The only thing I could think of, so I looked up finger lime because I didn't really know what it is. And finger lime is, it said here that it has a citrus and balsamic feeling to it with a coumarin undertone. And that's probably where we're going. I'm not sure if I want to smell like that. But, at $30 or $40, you can get this one for. The dry down is really nice. But for me personally, I got to get past the finger lime first. But don't let me deter you from getting this, I would put this on your skin first, though, and see if this, lime caviar works well on your skin. It does have ambergris in it, so after a while it does smell quite nice. But, don't let me deter you from getting it. It may work really wonders on you and make you smell amazing. For me, it just doesn't really work. There are better scents out there that are aquatic, that or have a little bit of a marine note, that work better on my skin than Urban Hero. So it's not for me. But in 2021, there is supposed to be a release from this line. And I don't have a bottle of this one yet. I've looked, I can't find it anywhere. Maybe in, I don't know, the Middle East or something. I don't know. There's nothing in Europe right now or in the USA. I can't find anything. But as soon as it comes out, I'm going to get a bottle. And as far as I know, that there's going to be some pineapple and blood orange at the top. There's also going to be some tonka and lavender in this fragrance. And the base notes are going to be sandalwood and oak moss. So it sounds promising. I do like those notes. But we'll have to wait until it hits the markets. I guess, world affairs have slowed everything down. I hope you enjoyed this review of some of the fragrances by Jimmy Choo. If you did, leave a like, leave a comment if you have any questions. I'm glad that you were here. Until next time, I want you to take good care of yourself. Always smell nice, and I'll talk to you soon. Until then, Centrail.